It seems like everybody right now is talking poorly about the 2026 NFL rookie class, and that gives us an opportunity to go acquire 2026 rookie picks for a lower price. So today, we're going to give you 6 players that you should go out and trade to acquire picks this year. Now, while this isn't an outright sell video in terms of selling these players in Dynasty, it's more so about realizing what value you can get for these players in context of the 2026 rookie draft. Your first player here, Cameron, is fascinating. I saw you put his name in the doc. I scratched my head a little bit and I said, I think I'm willing to hear you out, but Cam Skatebo, he's one you're willing to trade for rookie picks this year.
For sure. And I get it. He was fun when he was on the field. Him and Jackson Dart, they're wearing their Subway sweater vests at Radio Row, right? It's exciting. My issue is that ankle injury was nasty. And we've seen it with guys where it just takes you a little bit to get going after an injury like that, right? Most players, and maybe Cam Skatebo is the exception. I mean, he is a guy who would run through a wall for you. So maybe he is. Most guys take a little bit to get back. And so we're talking about a player right now who's 24 years old. He's going to be, at the end of next season, 25. So for me, I'm expecting a more down season. Tyrone Tracy's also on this roster for 2 more years. He's currently priced as the running back 15 after essentially 4 or 5 good games, which I know you could look at me and say you're a hypocrite. You price Travion Henderson as the top 8 running back after 4 or 5 good games. I get it, but I feel like they're a little bit different. The other thing for me too, a little bit. The other thing with me too for Skatebo is he still is a 4th round pick. John Harbaugh's coming in and he wants more control over player personnel, right? He was not a part of this team that drafted him. So if it is a slow start, you have no guarantee that you recoup on Skatebo. And I'm looking at this draft and I'm seeing where he's projected for a keep trade cut. And man, if I can get a mid first and I can look at a chance of, obviously you're not getting what's his name? Why can I
Jeremiah Love?
Yes, thank you. Wow.
Jeremiah Love, that was rough. No, I got where you're going.
Yeah, right. You're not getting one of those top players, but if you have a shot at one of the top 3 wide receivers, like we talked about last week, if you have top, like Jadarian Price, like those are the kind of players that I would swap 1 for 1 with Cam Skatebo and understand I'm going to go younger. I'm going to go a guy who's healthy and a guy who is drafted by the regime that is in place right now, right? Not taken by the past regime. So for all of that, I'm looking, he's still high on your draft boards coming off the injury. I just think for me, it's more of a hedging of my bet for Cam Skatebo.
So, Ty, I can see this both ways. I can see the optimism of, hey, actually, you know what? John Harbaugh doesn't mind a big bruising back. I mean, he was able to make use of Gus Edwards. He brought in Derrick Henry, right? I could see where he easily could use a guy like Cam Skatebo. On the other hand, I do see Cameron's perspective here too of, that ankle injury was nasty. We don't know how long it'll take Cam Skatebo to get back to what he was. He's a wrecking ball. It's not like this couldn't happen again. What side of the equation are you on here?
I also kind of look at who's actually going to be calling plays here over in the Meadowlands. It's Matt Nagy. Okay. And we need that as a button bar. Just to somebody, Jackson, Cam, clip that vomit sound.
Everybody pause. There we go.
Sorry, I just jumped right in on it. I guess I wanted in on it. So the Matt Nagy piece of this is what concerns me the most, because I'm not so sold that he's exactly the right guy for this offense and where they are at with Jackson Dart and Cam Skatebo and Malik Neighbors and maybe even another young receiver at number 5 in the draft this year. I'm not sure that Matt Nagy is exactly the guy to get the most out of that group of players. And I don't know exactly if I can go 1 for 1 with his time in Kansas City to this now, because I do think Tyrone Tracy, Cam Skatebo are better running backs than 30-year-old Kareem Hunt, than Isaiah Pacheco coming off of his third like massive knee injury and all those kind of things, right? But the track record shows me that like Cam Skatebo may not exactly be the workhorse that we want him to be. Can he still be the lead back here in New York? Totally can. But if your expectation for Cam Skatebo, or if somebody else's expectation for Skatebo is like, oh, he's for sure like alpha guy in that backfield, like, like how Harbaugh treated Derrick Henry and Gus Edwards, kind of like what you had said, Lucas. I'm just not convinced that that's exactly the path that Skatebo is going to be on. And then you add in the injury history at least the ankle injury that Cam mentioned. Like there's so many question marks that you would like to believe that it can be better, that it can get as good as you want it to be with Cam Skatebo. I'm just not convinced, just because of the surrounding pieces, the environment that he's in here in New York with the certain coaches now.
I'm curious to hear what viewers of this video think. So if you do have an opinion on whether you're willing to just sell off Cam Skatebo for picks that you can get right now, let us know. Or if you're on the flip side, let us know as well. And if you are here watching this video, haven't hit that subscribe button yet, this is your chance to do that right now. It's 100% free. One of the easiest ways, low cost, literally zero cost ways to support us. We appreciate all of you who have joined us already along the way. As much as we want to provide you fantasy football insights to beat your friends, we want to remind you of the fun and camaraderie that comes with this game. We're with you all off season long, posting Dynasty content, NFL draft content coming up very, very soon as well. So join us for this off season ride as we prep for the 2026 fantasy football season. Time coming right back to you. Garrett Wilson, I think, is a much easier one to digest here. I think the case is very, very easy, mostly because I wouldn't be surprised he's sitting at the wide receiver 15 right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at Garrett Wilson as like the wide receiver 20 to 25 by the end of next season. So this is a pretty easy. The draft class isn't great, but the value on Garrett Wilson is only going down, most likely.
Exactly. I just think the question that you just need to ask yourself is, who's going to be the bigger fantasy producer 2 years from now? Garrett Wilson, or one of Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon, or Jordan Tyson, right? You can essentially have your pick of the top three receivers, or maybe you just need the running back spot. Maybe you package up Garrett Wilson to go for the 101. I don't know if anybody would be willing to do that, but Garrett Wilson is at least, I doubt it, but Garrett Wilson is at least an intriguing enough piece to get people to at least look at the offer and think about it for just half a second, right? Because Garrett Wilson is one of the better receivers. He's paid like it. The Jets believe that he's one of the better receivers in the league. But the whole argument for Garrett Wilson going into last year, and it's probably going to be the same going into this year, he's just going to have to volume his way. He was kind of getting there before he got hurt, but like
he was.
He was
top five receiver.
It was pretty cool to watch. But then Justin Fields decided to like get his guy murdered out there by just throwing balls constantly behind him and stuff. But the point that I'm essentially trying to make, Frank Reich is your play caller now for the Jets. Okay. You bring in some quarterback this offseason because Justin Fields definitely is not the starter. So your best case scenario is Kyler Murray, probably, because you don't want to bring in Tua. You could go out and sign Malik Willis, but how much of that is just Justin Fields 2.0? Like, yes, Willis looked good in, however many games for the Packers, but still, essentially what I'm trying to say, outside of Kyler Murray, the quarterback situation would remain a big question mark, no matter who it is under center. So could Garrett Wilson continue to be the volume guy? Yeah. And like Lucas said, he might be closer to wide receiver 20, 24 by the end of next year. Garrett Wilson could also be the wide receiver 15 still. I'm just saying, I don't know exactly if Garrett Wilson has the surrounding environment, the system to support being a top 12 wide receiver. If he can, it's a miracle in my opinion, or it's because the Jets went out and they overpaid. I shouldn't say they overpaid, but they got in a competent quarterback that would be able to run some kind of offense. But then that's where I get back to the whole Frank Reich thing, right? Like maybe it's just that I've still got a bad taste in my mouth from his time in Carolina. But anyway, the point being, when you have three receivers in this wide receiver draft class, like Tyson, like Lemon, and like Carnell Tate, I'm okay restarting the wide receiver clock here with Garrett Wilson, going into year 26. His age is 26. He's not going
age
to year
26.
26. Wow, man.
Tom Brady.
I guess that's what playing for the Jets does to you, though.
It's Jets years. It's like dog years.
It's Jets years. But like I would
Jets
restart
years.
that clock.
So I totally missed that. That was good.
But yeah, like I would restart. Go get Lemon. Go get Tate. Go get Tyson. I just trust their landing spots in their situations more than I do with the Jets right now that seem to be in purgatory, which is ironic because they're just at the bottom year in and year out at this point.
So I talked about this in the fixing the Jets short form video that we put over on our other socials. And I mentioned how if Darren Mogi wants to show that he's serious, like he's not coming in just to kind of fart around to get to the 2027 draft, they got to do something about the quarterback position. But the problem is this is such a bad cycle for quarterbacks where like the best case scenario, like you said, Ty, is Kyler Murray is an absolute smash. And that seems pretty unlikely. Or Malik Willis is an absolute smash. And that's like best case scenario. And that best case scenario is just, it seems so improbable considering the incompetence of the New York Jets as an entire franchise. Cam, I'll get your 2 cents here because I'm curious. Do you have anything that you want to push back against? Because I'm pretty much with Ty on this one. I think no matter what they do at the quarterback position in the foreseeable future, there's literally nothing that can elevate Garrett Wilson at this point.
Yeah, obviously trading him for any of these rookies is more of a risk because at this point we do know who Garrett Wilson is. We know that he does have top 10 upside, but he's probably going to be between the wide receiver 20 and wide receiver 12. That's essentially how the next 6 years are going to go for Garrett Wilson. What I look at is Emeka Egbuka, Tet McMillan, wide receiver 9 for McMillan, wide receiver 12 for Egbuka right now and keep trade cut. Neither of them had like crazy seasons, right? And they're both ahead of where Garrett Wilson is right now. So if Lemon, Tate, Tyson, if they come out and put up 900 plus yards this next year after being probably all 3 top 15 picks in the draft, as long as Garrett Wilson doesn't have a top 5 season, they're probably going to have more value dynasty wise than Garrett Wilson will this time next season. That's just the way dynasty works, right? Because then all of a sudden you're buying in on the new guy, you're buying in on a hope, and more than likely you're not attached to the New York Jets. For me, trading for the 104 with Garrett Wilson, I don't hate that because you're probably going to get 104 plus, and then you're just taking the third of these three wide receivers, and so you get a guy who could probably be at this time next year equivalent or better than Garrett Wilson, and you get a little more on top. So I like it from that aspect, but I do just want to say that I feel like it is a little more risky than I think it's a slam dunk, just because we know at this point Garrett Wilson's going to get the volume. Garrett Wilson's going to continue to produce. It's just going to be kind of gross moving forward, right? And you understand both sides of the coin. So that's where I am. I would more than likely end up doing it, but it definitely feels a little more risky than just like, yep, I think this is a for sure thing.
And you're also getting a few more years back on these younger players too, right? You're looking at like 21 years old for Carnell Tate. You're getting 4 or 5 years there as well, which also means something in Dynasty too. So yeah, Garrett Wilson, I feel like he's a very digestible one to go out and swap for 2026 rookie picks right now. If you can get in the sweepstakes of the Mekhi Lemon, Jordan Tyson, or Carnell Tate.
Can I just say this real quick though with the Jets?
Yep.
Would it be
spoiler alert? But yes, go ahead.
Would it not be the most Jets thing that Jordan Tyson's medicals like push him down to 16 and the Jets take Jordan
and the
Tyson?
Jets are looking at him?
Yes. Like that would be like quintessential New York Jets. And it like
you're Garrett Wilson. You want another Ohio State wide receiver running next to you? Wide receiver for you?
Carnell Tate's definitely not getting to 16, but that's a reality that I don't think many people have talked about. That like, what if the Jets do trade up and it's for one of the other receivers to pair with Garrett Wilson? Then Garrett Wilson's value is completely shot then. In like, there's still, like Cam said, there's still a player because of volume, but like man, that would be the best part of draft night for sure. That Jets fans just continue to live in their misery.
The Jets are out here collecting Ohio State wide receivers like they're Thanos and Infinity Stones. Who's next? Jackson Smith and Jig.
I will say, if
Jeremiah Smith next year, welcome to the New York Jets.
If anything, they're going to reach on Denzel Boston at 16. Right? They're not going to get lucky and they're going to reach on one of these back end first round wide receivers and take him. That's what's going to happen if they're the New York Jets.
We need some playmaking with Casey Concepcion.
Yes.
Yep, at 16. Yep. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
He's our Joker.
He's our okay. Got to bring in the Sean Payton mentality. I'm going to flip positions entirely here. How about CJ Stroud? I've been seeing people talk about how CJ Stroud is actually a hold or a buy low at his current value because it would be a quote-unquote loss on value for future years if he were to bounce back. But if we're talking about CJ Stroud as the quarterback 16 right now, over on Keep Trade Cut, I think this is like a perfectly fine window to go out and deal him for rookie picks. He is sandwiched right in the middle of Jordan Tyson and Carnell Tate, who are projected to be top 6 picks in these drafts, as we've been talking about. So for a guy who's finished as the quarterback 23 or worse in points per game the last 2 seasons, I would be more than happy to swap that for Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson right now, especially in what's going to be a top-heavy rookie draft, most likely. The biggest problem for CJ Stroud, it's quite literally the Houston Texans, and why I just don't think he's going to bounce back here within the next, we'll call it 2 years. There's not enough passing value to benefit him like it does Dak Prescott with the Dallas Cowboys. There's not enough rushing volume that benefits players like Justin Herbert or Caleb Williams, who are kind of in the same range of pass attempts. And this Houston defense is just so good that they don't need Stroud to go out and play hero ball and win them a football game. Like, the reason Stroud was so good for fantasy in his 2023 rookie season is because the Texans were letting him rip it 40 times a game. He was starting passing yards per game, 4th in yards per attempt, and 4th in ADOT. Those have dipped drastically over the last 2 years. Even with the offensive coordinator change and Nick Caley this last year. Like, I get we're only 3 years into CJ Stroud, but I just have more concerns his value continues to decrease over the foreseeable future than actually increase for you to capitalize later. So I think you can get an earlier 2026 rookie pick for him compared to the 2027 draft. I'm going to guess you're not going to be able, like, it's going to be a late first round pick for CJ Stroud is what I'm worried about. So I would rather strike while the iron's hot right now. And rookie picks in 2026 are deflated, and CJ Stroud's value is like still just high enough where I think you can get away with trying to get a early to mid first round pick for CJ Stroud.
Yeah, the question really is, do you think he's better moving forward than 4,500 passing yards and 30 passing touchdowns? Do you think he's significantly better? Because
that's what he has to get to. That's the problem.
That is Tua's best season. 4,600 passing yards and 29 passing touchdowns. Obviously, he'll have a teeny bit more rushing upside than Tua. But in that season, Tua was the quarterback 21 in points per game. CJ Stroud hasn't even sniffed 30 passing touchdowns. He hasn't sniffed 4,600 passing yards. So you're
a bit more rushing upside at least.
A team, but it's not like it's significant enough that you're going.
No.
Exactly. It's not like we're talking he's going to go hit 350 rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns like Trevor Lawrence.
Herbert's like the perfect example here, right? Yep. Where it's like he's not getting 75 attempts this season.
Yeah. And so it's just, I'm looking at it and I'm going, I just don't think we're going to see those crazy, 35 plus passing touchdowns from CJ Stroud more than once in his career. So I just don't think you're going to lose if you trade him at this point. I think it can be better. I just don't think there's an upside case for CJ Stroud to be made.
That's exact. I don't actually think you can lose right now. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like people are saying, oh, but CJ Stroud, he's too talented. He can bounce back. And I'm just like, not until this offense changes, not until the identity of the Houston Texans actually changes, Ty. I don't know. Maybe you're holding out more hope for CJ Stroud, but I'm just wondering, again, I look at 2 years and I'm seeing a very, very good Houston Texans defense, and that's going to be their identity.
CJ Stroud reminds me a bit of Sam Darnold seeing ghosts. Like, CJ Stroud is just not the same player that he was in his rookie year. He is scared off by any kind of pressure. He can't deliver. I mean, it happens every once in a while, but it is not to the level of consistency that you would think it should be at after year 3, after your successful rookie year, right?
Right.
And I just look at some of the names, right, over on Keep Trade Cut that are either a spot or two like ranked ahead of him or, several behind him. Then Brock Purdy and Fernando Mendoza are the first 2 names ahead of CJ Stroud at this point, and Jordan Love as well. But I like in a heartbeat, if you're going to try to tier up, you got to package Stroud really nicely because it seems like vibes are so low on Stroud. But just some of the names right after Stroud, Cam Ward, I would take a chance on Cam Ward at this point with Brian Dable calling the shots now in Tennessee. Like, I feel much better about that. Yeah, you're getting a bit older with Dak Prescott by like 8 years, but you know exactly what you're getting with Dak Prescott, right?
Top 7.
I just am not convinced that CJ Stroud, like, maybe the other way of saying Cam's argument, I'm just not convinced that CJ Stroud is ever going to consistently give you top 15, top 12 fantasy results. And if that's the same concern that you have and you've got him, move him right now. And it's not even that you need to go find the quarterback replacement. When it comes to fantasy, you can find any kind of way to include quarterbacks into deals and all that kind of stuff. Just go get any kind of rookie pick and just I wouldn't say restart the clock again for Stroud because he's 24 years old, but just like go tool up elsewhere on your roster right now than rather wait out on CJ Stroud.
I had the worst quarterback luck this year in one of our dynasty leagues. I made it to the semifinals with only Bo Nix as my quarterback. Like, I at what point do you just say some of these guys are going to flat out outscore what CJ Stroud is giving? He only gave you 4 weeks as a top 12 quarterback this year in 13 games. That's 9 weeks. He wasn't even close to a quarterback 1 for you. So I like to give you this like quarterback 16 value. Like, it's closer to 12 than it is to 24. And I'm just worried that he's going to end up being closer to 24 than he is to 12 by the end of next season. So yeah, I'm with you. If you can go out and trade CJ Stroud, figure out a quarterback position later. There's other ways to regain those points in a super flex league. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Underdog, where you can get into the game this season playing Pick'em. It's extremely simple. Just pick higher or lower on 2 or more of your favorite players. For example, I'll pick the higher on Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Xavier Worthy. If I played $10 and got all 3 of them right, I would win $60 just by watching football. And that's the beauty of Pick'em. You can track your picks and your wins while you enjoy the game. Now, if you're not on Underdog yet, scan the QR code on your screen or use our code FELLAS when you sign up, because new customers will get $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5 on the app. Plus, Underdog will give you a free pick to use in your first entry. Again, that's code FELLAS over on Underdog. Now let's get you back to the rest of the show. Let's keep it on moving here. Cam, you're actually going to stick with the quarterback position too. And again, another one that I look at and I'm like, this is actually a lot more digestible than I expected it to be. And it's Jordan Love, because wow, look at the list of names that's around Jordan Love right now and what you can accumulate in rookie picks for that. Again, another one that I think is relatively easily digestible for me.
Yeah, I just don't think you're winning anything with Jordan Love at your quarterback position. That's what it comes down to. He's finished outside the top 18 in points per game in the last 2 seasons. Again, I know it's not a great rookie class for quarterbacks. And sure, if you're really feeling desperate for the future, trade for a 2026 pick, get to draft time when everyone's excited, and then trade back to 2027. That's really how you're feeling. But I think what you're going to find in those early picks that you're going to be able to get for Jordan Love is going to be better than him as a quarterback, right? Getting in close to getting a Jeremiah Love, getting a Cardinal Tate, Kai Lemon. That I think is going to be better in the long run than Jordan Love. Jordan Love, like CJ Stroud, has his name up here. Like he's ranked as a quarterback 15 because of 1 season. His other 2 seasons have been much more in line with where he's been at as a quarterback, and they haven't been great. He has a little bit of rushing upside, but obviously was hurt this last season, so we didn't see a ton of it. So it's kind of like, okay, is that going to come back this next year? His wide receiver core is bad. Like, is that real? Like, is there anything else that I need to say there? Maybe you get Christian Watson back. Tucker Kraft's coming off an ACL tear, so hopefully that's quick. But yeah, I just don't see crazy upside here for Jordan Love. And I've heard them floating around Josh Jacobs as a potential cap casualty this season because they can save $8-9 million against the cap. So this could be a totally different looking offense. And sure, you can say, well, let Jordan cook. That's what they did a couple of years ago. I just don't really think they want to, right? I mean, it's not like, sure, you got in the playoffs and you were close, but at the same time, he hasn't looked the same these last 2 seasons. So I'm sitting here and thinking, even not just from an NFL aspect, but again, more of a pocket passer, has a little bit of rushing upside, but not the same as these other guys. You're hoping for what? Maybe he's a top 12, fringe top 12 quarterback moving forward. That just doesn't excite me. I just think I can get better value everywhere else. And I would rather move him for, again, one of these top 4 guys that I know value's only going to go up on no matter what happens this year.
Yeah, the Packers were negative in pass rate over expectation this year. So I get people might want to say, hey, just go ahead, let Jordan truck it around the yard. As long as Josh Jacobs is still in town, they're going to want to run the football. Matt LaFleur is going to want to make that his identity. And maybe if his job is truly on the line again, if he's truly on the hot seat, maybe they pivot back to Jordan Love. But I look at the wide receiver room here, and I know that's such a lazy argument, but man, it'd be a lot easier to like Jordan Love if Davante Adams were still a Packer. It'd be a lot easier to like Jordan Love if you did give him a quality wide receiver 1 and not a bunch of wide receiver 3s, right? It's like they got 15 wide receiver 3s on the team who everybody loves, but none of them are good enough to be a true wide receiver 1. It's tough to, unless if Jordan Love becomes Tom Brady and he's throwing to Julian Edelman's and off the side of the road. I kind of get where Cam is coming from here, Ty.
I do too. And there's nothing wrong with understanding that, like, hey, Jordan Love does give you some highlight throws. There's nothing wrong with saying that. But you do just have to look at the whole body of work and just go, this offense, like Cam said, just does not let him go. They just don't let him do his thing. Not every offense lets their quarterback just do their own thing, but it's like Matt LaFleur definitely has a defined, or he has a definition of what he wants his offense to be. And if it's not involving the run game, then it does give a little more intrigue to the passing game. Everything is built on the run. And Jordan Love just needs to play point guard. And point guard quarterbacks, I'm just going to say, unless they're throwing for, again, 30 touchdowns, 4,500 yards, 4,000 yards even, they just are not as intriguing, and they don't have as much value as you think that they do. So I agree with this one. Jordan Love, I'm going to say his name again. Go get Cam Ward. Things are getting better. Things are going to get better in Tennessee. Go restart the quarterback cycle again.
I know there's been some injuries with Jordan Love here too. But like his non-throwing hand this year, that's one where I'm like, I get it impacts you a little bit, but it's not one where it's like, okay, but you shouldn't be as down as you are in terms of production and value just because of that. So it's a tough slope to sled here, but yeah, I don't hate trying to get on Jordan Love because once you get past like quarterback 10, you could probably assign each player a number on a dice for the next 12 players, and all of it like a 12-sided dice, and all of a sudden you roll one and that's the order they're going to fall in, right? It's a pretty open field afterwards. So I'll come right back to you. As a Travis Hunter manager myself, as someone who hyped him up before last season, I find it so tough to say you throw in the towel after one season. But if Travis Hunter managers really want to go try and get rookie picks this year, I'm not going to fault him for doing it. I'm just not. There are so many reasons to just say, hey, I swung and I missed, and I'm going to get what I can back in rookie picks.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you want to hold out hope for one more year, you certainly can. I just see, maybe it's not writing on the wall, but I just I just see so many hurdles that Travis Hunter has to jump through to essentially start becoming the perceived fantasy asset that we all had hopes for his rookie year. Jacksonville's already planning on using him as a full-time corner and a part-time wide receiver. That's already the plan going into 2026 into year 2. So he's likely, yep. So he's likely the wide receiver 4 this year, right behind BTJ, behind Jacoby Myers, probably behind Parker Washington. Okay. And it is wild. And I don't want this argument to come across as, oh, sell Travis Hunter for picks because of Parker Washington. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying there are so many things that have to fall in Travis Hunter's favor in order for him to really start producing and eventually getting to the threshold that we all want him to get to as a receiver. Okay. Parker Washington needs to fall flat on his face and the team doesn't bring him back. Certainly a possibility, but there is a reality that we saw towards the end of this year where Jacksonville sees a path for Parker Washington and they want to keep him involved. Okay. So let's say Parker Washington stays in Jacksonville, right? So then you're hoping that Brian Thomas Jr. gets traded. I don't know if Jacksonville's necessarily rushing to get BTJ out of their building necessarily, maybe in a couple of years, but then again, that's 2 years later down the line, right? 3 years, that was the extension of Jacoby Myers' contract. So then you're waiting 3 years for, like, the point that I'm essentially trying to make is that there is not much movement going there. Not much movement will happen in this wide receiver room, right? So what this comes down to is Travis Hunter failing as a corner to essentially tell the team, like, I need to play more receiver than corner. Certainly a possibility. But then you also need to hope that, hey, there's no drop off in offensive production from a holistic standpoint when he becomes a receiver, that he can kind of pick up where the team is currently at and he can start producing with what he's given. Like I said, I just see so many hurdles. I see so many obstacles in his way to getting to that threshold of eventually becoming one of the best wide receiver players in the league, because he has that kind of ceiling. He's still wide receiver 31 in super flex rankings. Like, does it make a whole lot of sense to trade Travis Hunter for a late first round pick, knowing the kind of players that will be available towards the end of the first round? Maybe not.
Players. Right.
But is Travis Hunter also not a boom bust player at this point as well? Just right. Because exactly. Like, so I just see obstacles in the way of Travis Hunter that, yes, it stings to move him on, because he is, again, just one of the best athletes that we will likely see in the league for a very long time. But maybe you just know that somebody's going to be there in your draft, and you're like, you know what? Maybe in order to make sure I get that guy, or you find a guy sliding in your draft, maybe you do need to kind of dangle a Travis Hunter trade piece to get them thinking about it.
Cam, you are the other Travis Hunter manager in this trio here. Where are you at? I've kind of said I'm going to hold out one more year. Mm-hmm. I get any other manager that wants to go out and just say, hey, I swung, I missed. I'm going to get what I can. I'm going to recoup what I can. Where are you at?
I need to be able to get a first round wide receiver this year. Is essentially where I'm at. That's kind of what I've come to.
Like in the NFL draft.
In the NFL draft, yeah.
So Casey Concepcion goes pick 31 to the New England Patriots.
And see, like, I'm not even like overly excited about that, but I think that's one I'd probably
throwing out a hypothetical.
But that's one I'd probably strongly consider. And I'm not even saying the manager who would have whatever the 107, 108, 109, whatever that ends up being in your rookie draft, whoever has that necessarily even wants to do that trade with you. It's just, you have to understand Travis Hunter could be a complete loss as an asset in fantasy football, right? There is always a chance with him that he is completely a corner who plays 4 snaps a game. But at the same time, what he did in his last game before he got hurt is the reason you drafted him. Yes. So You understand the upside. I also think too, as part of development, if you truly want him to play both sides, and you're looking at what position is harder to learn in the NFL, corner is going to be the position that's harder to learn. Corner is the position you need to solidify as a NFL player earlier, and you can always come back and play more wide receiver later. I'm not saying I'm not saying that's their plan necessarily, but if I'm looking at, hey, I'm going to teach a guy to play NFL corner or NFL wide receiver, which one's more difficult? I'm going to start with corner and then go back to wide receiver. So I think he's going to be he's for sure a better in best ball guy. I don't know if you're going to be able to start him ever this season. So you just have to have that kind of understanding. But like Casey Concepcion, are you going to be able to start him ever this season if he's on the New England Patriots, right? So you're at the same point. And Travis Hunter at this, he's not even 23 yet. So I see both sides of it. That's kind of where I stand. I would need a first round wide receiver. And even then, I'm still first round in the NFL draft or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
First round NFL draft.
I need a first round guy. And even then, I'm a little bit questioning. So I see both sides. It's probably fair. Whatever argument you make is probably right. It's just what is your tolerance to risk is essentially where we're at.
And I do think you would need to find the right manager who's willing to take a swing on Travis Hunter themselves. Like it takes two to tango with Travis Hunter here. It takes two to tango in any trade, obviously, but like specifically for Travis Hunter, like you're not just going to sell Travis Hunter to someone who's like, you know what? Maybe I'm kind of interested. I'll take a swing on. No, it's got to be like, no, I still believe in Travis Hunter, and I think I could potentially win this trade by giving up a first round pick to do so. Like you've got to find someone who is convinced that they would much rather have Travis Hunter. And I just don't know how many managers there are out there on that side of the coin. If that's you, let us know in the comments because we'd be very curious to hear if you are a believer in Travis Hunter moving forward, or if recent reports of him basically playing corner and moving to very part-time wide receiver has kind of scared you off at this point. I'll wrap up with one more player here. We started with a running back. We'll close out with a running back as well. Javonte Williams is a player that I am just very interested in getting out for rookie picks if I possibly can on my dynasty team. It's literally all about catching it on 1 year of excellence for Javonte Williams. There's nothing to do with the player talent. I've always been a Javonte Williams guy. I've loved him. Literally when he came out as a rookie in Denver, I took him in our dynasty league right away because I had that much faith in him. But currently everything to do with him being a free agent, and having this like renaissance as a Dallas Cowboy here after his first few years in the league, it has everything to do with that. If we're following the Cowboys running back tendencies over the last 2 seasons, they have no interest in paying the running back position. Rico Dowdle was finishing out his contract in 2024 on a $1.2 million payout. Zeke Elliott came back to the Cowboys after a 2023 stint with the Patriots. He was on a $2 million contract. And if you remember, Dalvin Cook was on the practice squad for this team in 2024. That's like a $350 to $400K contract. Okay. So they're paying their running backs literally nothing. 2025, they signed Javonte Williams to a $3 million deal. Miles Sanders was the other running back that they signed. Less than $1.5 million, $1.3 million they signed him to. Javonte's projected contract right now, Cam, you and I were just talking about this before the show, 3 years, $22 million, according to SpotTrack. That's about $7.4 million annually. And I'm willing to step up to the plate and just say the Cowboys aren't willing to pay that, even after Javonte Williams outpaced Saquon Barkley in rushing yards this past season. So instead of playing roulette on whether Javonte will end up in a good offense, that'll be in scoring position often, just like the Dallas Cowboys offense was this year, why not just play roulette in the rookie draft, get a bit younger, and see if you can really strike gold with one of these boom bust options in the late first, early second round? That's just kind of where I'm at. Javonte Williams is a good running back, but I think I'd rather play roulette in the rookie draft rather than thinking he's going to sign with another high volume offense like the Dallas Cowboys.
He's one I don't feel you need to trade, but I feel like if you're not a true competitor or if you're not a running back away, he's a good guy to trade. I think you have a year with Javonte this year where, you know what, as the slate, I'm looking at the Penn State running backs. If right now I'm sitting here and I'm going, Do I want them or do I want Javonte Williams? It's, do I need to win this year? Do I need points this year? Because I think Javonte can get you 13 and a half PPR points a game. Or am I going, either he's not going to make a difference on the team that I have, or I'm not in a position to win. I would rather then have the younger guy. That's where I'm at with Javonte. And I think I could go either way and I could talk myself into both sides. So I don't think it's hey, this is a guy I feel like you need to trade, but I feel like he's that perfect player for that late round first, getting one of those running backs that you're like you said, they're boom bust. It could happen. It could not. And at this point, we don't really know because we haven't seen draft capital. We haven't seen what team they've landed on, right? Because they're going to be dependent on that. So I don't hate it either way. If you're going to trade him, do it now. That's and we should have said that at the top for all these players.
Yeah, for all these players right now.
Trade these players, do it.
It'll
now.
say that in the title of this podcast and video. It will say right now.
Do not do it.
Do not do it. Clickbait
in your rookie drafts, because the price for these picks is gonna be higher than it is right now. That's how it works every year. It's not like the players get better. It's just all of a sudden we get overexcited about rookie picks. So just keep that in mind. Of Javonte Williams, you got to make the decision now. Am I going to go younger, or am I going to roll the dice and hope I get another 2 years at 13 half PPR points per game?
Ty, you fall on one side of the coin or the other. I do think 13 points might be a little bit rich, but again, depending on the offense he falls in, I also don't think it's unrealistic either. Like, if the Cowboys do bring him back, I mean, yeah, you could have another 2 years of Javonte Williams, no question. But I just, again, based on the history of the Dallas Cowboys the last 2 years, I just don't see them willing to open up the pocketbook for that position.
I mean, would you rather have Javonte Williams on a new team or a thumper like Emmett Johnson? I'm kidding. Okay, I will acknowledge that my mistake on that. I was definitely thinking of somebody else.
In the comments got him.
Comments got me. Okay. But like you kind of touched on it, Lucas, of just like, is there going to be a landing spot that's as good as Dallas? So to me, I want to be careful when I say this, but this just kind of feels like Tony Pollard 2.0 to a certain extent, where, you know, Tony Pollard finally got the opportunity, took advantage of it. Then he went out and got paid big by Tennessee. It's not really going to surprise me if Javonte kind of takes a similar route and he goes and gets paid by, I don't want to say a bottom feeder team, but it's just a team that doesn't excite you at all. So you're just then, well, it's not a bad one. But like, you're just then left with just like, man, the value has taken a shot. Trying to move him, you're gonna have to really get fancy with a package then around Javonte. So yeah, I would agree with this one too, of just like, if you're gonna move him now. But I also understand taking the risk of just like, maybe he does resign. Maybe he does kind of take the hometown discount that, like, the market value on Spot Track is off by about $2 million. He signs back in Dallas for 2 years, $5 million, or not 2 years, $5 million, 2 years, $10 million with like 8 guaranteed. I don't know if he would ever, I don't know if that's what he's going to do, but like, that's the risk that you want to take. By all means, you can do it. But if you see more risk than anything reliable in terms of where he's going to land, just move him now and play it safe.
I mean, I don't think I would like to think none of these teams would go out and pay a running back. But like, the New Orleans Saints could use another running back. They could use a new running back, not named Alvin Kamara. I know they got Kendre Miller and you got Devin Neal there.
Exactly. Like, they could use a running
exactly,
back.
Right. I was like, do you want me to go down to the fact they're running out Evan Hull and Audric Estime this year? I mean, right? I would like to think that New Orleans Saints are a team that'll go out and pay a guy like Javonte Williams, but like, I didn't think Tennessee was going to go out and do it with Tajay Spears. The Houston Texans are another example. Are you like thrilled about the Houston Texans potentially paying a running back to run alongside Woody Johnson? I'm just not like. Sorry, Woody Johnson. Woody Johnson. What am I saying? Oh man.
I bet all Jets fans really want him to run behind an offensive line, though, just to see the.
Can we get some damage done to this guy? Can we put Woody Johnson and Myles Garrett in a one-on drill, please?
Texas drill.
Can we put him in the Texas drill?
Gross.
Someone
Oh,
get
man.
Woody Johnson on the field. Oh, no. Woody Marks. Sorry. Oh, I've been thinking way too much about how the Jets just need to, for the love of God, please get rid of Woody Johnson to save their franchise. But I digress. Like, point being, you're not excited about any of those teams that I mentioned. Therefore, I don't know where else Javonte would end up unless if he takes a discount. The Chiefs are an option potentially, but even then they're without Patrick Mahomes. So what is that worth then at the same time? So all things to consider with Javonte Williams here. I don't think you're wrong for rolling the dice and seeing where he ends up here, but if you would rather roll the dice on the rookie picks, like you said, Cameron, right now is the time to go out and make that trade. We'll put a pin in everything there. Again, appreciate if you've hung around and listened to this entire show, watch this entire video over on our YouTube. If you have and you're not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell as well, so you know when all of our newest content goes up. You can find us on our other socials as well. FFL is over on Twitter. The FFL is over on Instagram. Fantasy Football Fellas on Facebook and TikTok. All exclusive content over there. It's not recut up content from this show. It's all separate exclusive content. We are in the thick of fixing NFL teams and like realistically doing it. We're not playing Madden with these teams. All right. We're not out here trying to trade Joe Burrow to the Minnesota Vikings because we're living in La La Land.
Oh, well, I'll scrap my video.
No one in particular. no one's video in particular either. No.
Okay, but no, I'm tired of my Instagram feed being Joe Burrow. Oh, the Vikings are going hard after Joe. No, duh. If Joe Burrow's available, any team should be going hard after Joe Burrow. Like, what a stupid report. I would love to get a future Hall of Fame quarterback on my team. Oh, pisses me off. Anyways, point being, we're talking realistically about who are we restructuring, who are we cutting, who are we targeting in free agency, how do we free up the cap space, etc. Really getting nitty gritty into the details of these NFL teams. If you're a YouTube truther through and through, Fantasy Football Fellas shorts. If you want to catch those videos, only on YouTube. Follow our personal socials. I'm at Lucas Wenzel on X, CamLaw FFF for Cameron, Tyler _Plath for Ty. We're going to be back later this week doing the inverse of this video. We talked about players to trade for rookie picks. How about those 2026 rookie picks that you can trade for current assets, current players in the NFL for your dynasty squads as well? We'll be back with that later this week. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, y'all. Deuces.
Deuces.